Back to the past. Back to the past. It's Samurai Jack. Hey, watch out. Doom ba doom. Boom ba doom. Boom boom boom. Look at this. Jack, 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 Jack. Boom ba doom. Boom ba doom. Boom boom boom. Watch out. Boom ba doom. Boom ba doom. Boom ba doom boom. Watch out. Boom ba doom.
Who are you texting? I'm checking for.
Lost its effect on me. Yet the suffering continues. Aku's grasp chokes the past, present, and future. Hope is lost. Gotta get back. Back to the past.
Samurai Jack. Alright, so since I lost my live reaction footage for most of, all that stuff, I want to talk about Samurai Jack Season 5, the final season, since people were waiting for me to make this video for a while anyway, and, now I gotta share the stream. Anyways, I'm back, and today we're gonna be doing this, alright? So, Samurai Jack Season 5. So, let me give you a recap on what happened last time before I even start speaking. Alright, on what the heck happened to me, right? So, Season 4, when I reviewed it, I think over 2 weeks ago now, or a week or so ago, or some time ago, right? I decided I really did not like the idea of me... I didn't like the season all that much because it was the exact same as Season 3, which if you guys remember Season 3, basically, my problem with Season 4 was basically the show, straight up, was just doing the same shit over and over again. And I remember at the end of my Season 4 review video, I said, I am praying, I am begging Season 5 to be completely different than the whole... by the way, there's going to be massive spoilers in this, so before you even watch the video, you might want to click off this one, because I'm going to go through the entire 10 episodes of Samurai Jack Season 5 with you guys. But I prayed on my life, I said, please Samurai Jack Season 5 be completely different than how Season 4 was, which Season 4, 3, 2, and 1 basically were their own mini story arcs in one episode joint. There were one episode stories every episode. So, yeah. But anyways, let's get right back into it. So, alright. And yes, I have a whole thing I'm going to read off. Your stream gets shut down. My reaction stream gets shut down. Yes, it did get shut down, and that's why I'm doing something else to make up for it. And my tablet's dying, so I have to be pretty quick with this one. So it starts off with those weird looking like mother and daughter, and they were getting chased by robots. And as you guys know, from just shit like that, I can predict pretty much most Samurai Jack episodes in a nutshell, right? It was getting so bad. Right? I was sitting there like, okay, they're doing the same thing Season 4 did, Season 3 did, with the whole, Jack's gonna save somebody, and then their whole tribe needs to be saved because they're getting enslaved by somebody again, type shit. And, no. The mother and daughter are getting chased by robots until a man in samurai armor came up, slashed and basically destroyed the monsters, and obviously it was Jack underneath the samurai armor, which I probably should have assumed, but I remember during that episode I didn't assume who it was. I actually had no idea who it was. I thought it was someone like Jack that can just do shit but is also saving people, but no, it was Jack in samurai armor that saved people. But this was the massive difference. By the way, Joshua, hello, how you doing? Waluigi Breakster, welcome. Tim, welcome, and X, welcome. So I remember when Jack saved the family, usually what Jack would do is he would sit there. I'm sorry for getting your stream copyright strike and make sure it shut down. and make it shut down. You're fine. It's okay. I don't blame anybody, okay? I was having fun. I'm not mad. Shit happens, bro. But what can we really do about it? All we can really do is get over it, move on. That's all we can do, right? Or not get over it in that harsh way, but you know what I meant. I meant, like, we can't do anything about it. And who knows? Maybe when my tablet gets more charged, I'll make it up to you guys. We'll remake that, and we can have new suggestions, all right? You know, I can always remake it when I get my tablet more charged up, because right now it's at 40, and it's dropping like a fly right now. So I need to do this review. I don't want to get it cut off, and I have to do another part of this. But when Samurai Jack saved the mother and daughter from the robot, and usually Jack would go up to them and be like, "Are you all right? What can I do for you? What else can I do? What's up? How you doing? How was your day? I am Jack. Nice to meet you." Right? Basically, what ends up happening is Jack just gets on his bike, drives the fuck off. After they're saved, he just drives the fuck off, continues what he's doing, right? And I'm like, did Jack saved them and didn't ask if they were all right, ask if they need transportation, ask nothing. Like, he just saved them, drove off. What the hell is up with him? Why does he have a beard? What the fuck is going on, right? So after he drove off away and started explaining, you know, the opening plays after that, right? And I didn't know this, but basically the opening that I showed you guys on this video, which I'm probably gonna get copyrighted for, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to make money. I don't care. I can make money on millions of other videos on the page. Who cares, right? Basically, Jack starts explaining how it's been 50 years. Age has no effect on him anymore, or time has no effect on him anymore. My suffering continues going on, basically, right? And after he explained all this, that how he's been fighting crime, fighting Aku's minions and worshippers of Aku and all these people for over 50 fucking years. And on top of that, time doesn't slow down for him at all. Basically, he stays the same age that entire period of time. Doesn't get older, doesn't just wither and die off. It's strange that time doesn't have effect on him, right? And you can see how in those 50 years, a lot of shit has happened to him, right? Like, because he has a beard, he acts completely differently now. He's not the same Jack from Season 4, or he's not the same Jack from Season 2 and 3, where he's, you know, rocking the usual gi, the blade, you know, and all that. He's not rocking that anymore. And even when I didn't see the blade anymore, I felt like something was wrong. But that was something that was good. That was something that was unique. That's something that got me on the bandwagon after you explained all this. Jack not being able to be bound by time anymore was insane. After learning that, Jack telling himself to go back to the past goes really hard. Like, the opening, by the way. I'm talking about the opening in these two things here. The animation looks really, really good. So basically, like, Samurai Jack season 5, I remember 5 minutes being into the episode, I loved what I was experiencing. Bro's on crack or something. No, I'm not on crack. What the fuck? But no, I mean this. I loved what Season 5 did. And I say this because Season 5 did something Season 4 didn't even try to do. Now, I get it. Season 4 was also on Cartoon Network at the time. And Cartoon Network is a kid's thing, so they can't go too violent. They can't go too extreme into certain topics or whatever. They got to make sure to keep it kid-friendly to help allow kids to understand what the hell is going on in Samurai Jack, right? So I get it why Season 1, 2, 3, and 4 had to have like this similar type of loop. But Season 5, oh, I love this season. I love Season 5 because it did what I wanted Samurai Jack to do since fucking Season 3. And just did it in spades. And I love that about this episode. Watching these, like, Aku worshippers give birth and praying to Aku is crazy. So the Aku worshippers, aka the daughters of Aku, are basically these girls that basically live their entire existence on one thing. and that is killing the samurai because it is in Aku's will. Aku is basically their god. They worship him. Everything they do for this motherfucker is for Aku. Not for themselves. They worship Aku. Their whole lives are for Aku's cause and purpose. And basically, that's why I say Aku worshippers throughout my whole notes here instead of, like, the daughters of Aku. But basically, they are the daughters of Aku, right? And it's a whole thing, right? And I also want to talk about the animation. I love how Samurai Jack, because keep this in mind, whenever a lot, in this, by the way, keep this in mind, Samurai Jack came back in 2017, so that was definitely a time period, that was a lot of time where people could have came in, changed the art style of Samurai Jack completely, and actually made it, like, completely unrecognizable. I mean, look at, like, Teen Titans Go around this time. Teen Titans Go, everyone thought Teen Titans Go was about to be a sequel to Teen Titans 2003. No. Look what happened to it. It became a chibi little kid show that not a lot of people... Well, there's a lot of people that like it, but there's also a lot of people that don't like it. So it's like people praying that Samurai Jack's art style wouldn't really, like, change, but also change all at the same time. And seeing that the animation was the same as 2003's animation, or whenever they, you know, made it, but made it better and, like, just improved upon it a fuck ton. Like, Jack looks so good this season. Every episode is animated so beautifully, so gracefully. Like, the trees, the backgrounds, the characters, the music's also so good for this season. I love every episode's music, the action choreography. Everything is so good in this season. It's not even funny. It just blows what they did in season, like, past seasons out of the water in terms of animation and fluidity of the animation, too. That's another thing that I really didn't think about until, like, season 5 showed up and shit, which kind of crazy. Anyways, watching Jack hallucinate over his family and his purpose. So basically, in these 50 years, Samurai Jack also started to lose his mind. He started to hallucinate about his family, about his purpose. Like, ever since he lost that sword, you know, he would get nightmares and literal hallucinations of his family, very vivid hallucinations. Excuse me, I take a drink. That his family, you failed us, son. You got us killed, son. Like, think about that. Imagine hallucinating something like that. And basically, these hallucinations aren't real, but they're so real to Jack because of everything he went through, like, off-screen during those 50 fucking years that he's been dealing with Aku's madness and everything just warping his mind constantly, and it's a whole fucking thing. It's a whole thing, and it's scary watching that because I remember myself having hallucinations. I used to get hallucinations. Obviously, they weren't as bad as Jack's, but they were pretty damn bad. For me, anyway, as a kid, they were really bad because my hallucinations were, like, horrific fucking things. They weren't even, like, my family, like, hallucinating about, like, dead family or something. It was, like, hallucinations of horrifying fucking things that terrified me at the time. And they would pop up in my face, like, every so often, like, every other day, to the point I would predict when the hallucination would show up. Sometimes it would only be a split second. I'd be like that, trying to get it to go away. I'd be playing with my toys and the hallucination would pop up sometimes. Hallucinations are no joke, people. Hallucinations are no fucking joke. Jesus fuck. Hi, man. I just broke up with my boyfriend. Oh, Maya, I'm sorry that you had to break up with your boyfriend, man. He wasn't the one for you, you know? He wasn't the one. But, also, and I said this as well, but, sorry to put it, just, I don't have anyone to talk to. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Another thing I found weird was there was this weird samurai on a horse, and I didn't understand it until way later on, but I didn't understand it, but this samurai that Jack always envisioned of was also following Jack, but in, like, a different way or a different meaning or a different purpose, and I didn't understand it in the show in season 1, episode 1. They don't want you to understand who the fuck that green samurai dude is, alright? They don't want you to understand that. They want you just to see him be like, what the fuck? And then not think much more of it. Or even make theories of something. But anyways, the next thing I want to talk about in this episode was Asashi getting beat up for something slightly off is crazy. So basically, Asashi is one of the daughters of Aku, and she actually loved life. She actually loved the little life that she could try to understand. She was basically like, obviously one of the daughters of Aku, but like, you know, she would doze off. She would be the one that's mostly unfocused. She would be the one that, you know, the mother of them all would have to fucking keep in line all the time. And because she would like go, not thinking about her surround or, you know, being so unfocused, she would get her ass beat for that. She would like have all the other daughters beat her ass for that, or she would put her through something for that and all that, just so they can straighten her out into the Aku worshiper image, you know, type shit. It's a whole thing. And just watching that, for me, as a viewer, I was like, damn, this season is so much darker than previous seasons. And it hurts how much darker, you know, season 5 is in comparison to other seasons. It's actually insanity, right? Jack meeting this robot samurai dude, aka Scaramouche, who plays the flute, but he also uses his voice to magically use or explode things, right? Why do you sound like that? I sound like what? I sound like, what I sound like? Because this is normally what I sound like. I remember Scaramouche, when I first saw him, I was so confused by his presence. Okay, dude. That is fucked up. Not gonna start problems in my fucking chat. But I remember seeing Scaramouche and basically, you know, what's going on, Samurai Jack? What's up, babe? Like, he'd call Jack babe. And basically, I think Scaramouche was like one of the weirdest characters in season 5. Because I remember when I saw him, I was like so confused. I didn't understand who he was. I was sitting there like, Scaramouche, who is this dude? I didn't even get to know his name in the first episode, at least I think, or at least well, I remembered his name because of later episodes, but I remember in the first episode when he fought Jack, and by the way, Jack in this season, for the most part, is using completely different weapons, and he's not even using, like, the sword because he lost it. He lost the sword, and Scaramouche found out about that when they fought. And basically, you know, obviously after Samurai Jack killed Scaramouche off from, like, most of the season after this, it was just insane just to watch, right? But, I'm not gonna lie, when I watched Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 1, it changed everything. I was hooked on Samurai Jack again. I was hooked like I was for Season 1 and Season 2. I was hooked. I loved Samurai Jack Season 5. I loved it. In the first 5 minutes of me watching this and seeing how different this episode was in comparison to everything I've watched prior in this show was immaculate. It was insane. I loved how they were going from plot point A, point B, point C, point C to point D, point E, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They were going through the alphabet with how much shit there is in this episode in comparison to old school ways where they would focus on Jack saving somebody and it would just be this one episode, whole storyline thing. I loved it for that. And I was so ecstatic to watch the next one that I think I watched the next one like a little bit after this. But I watched the first episode April 22nd, 2025. So not too long ago, actually, that I watched Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 1. So for Episode 2, it starts off with a groggy Aku getting up in the morning, dealing with folks and shit. Talking and shit-talking Jack makes me like, dang, dude. Like, because basically Aku is wondering, where the hell is the samurai, right? And also, Aku goes to therapy and basically gives himself therapy on Samurai Jack because he was sitting there wondering, you know, where is the samurai? Haven't fought him in a while, where the fuck was he? You would think, after destroying all the time portals for his bitch ass to get out, he would come rush me out of pure anger, right? And he would like try to come destroy me and shit. You know, he would do all those things, right? Like, is that Is that not a whole thing? Type shit. Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, that, where is he, basically? And they had, Aku had a whole moment with that. But then after that, we go to, like, watching a white wolf, like, getting jumped by other creatures, which was kind of fucked up, / Jack easily defeating a giant bug. That was cool. But then something happened in episode 2, which really got me going, right? Jack's over here just minding his own business. He heard something was off. He waited for it to try to come out. Something attacked Jack so fast, like faster than the speed of, like, stripping his samurai armor that he was wearing. Jack tried to use all his weapons he could try to use. These bitches, this blur not only stripped him of his armor immediately, like ripping it and tearing it to shreds, but also took all of Samurai Jack's weapons and also made Jack stress out and actually wonder what the fuck that entire period of time, making him scream, doing the yeah scream that he would always have, you know what I'm saying? In like less than 5 fucking seconds, to the point Jack had to do nothing but flee. Nothing but to flee, to get the fuck out of there. This is a problem. This is a menace. Who the fuck are these people? What are these people? What blur did I just see? Are these the girls? And by the way, keep in mind, yes, they are the Aku worshippers that are on, you know, Jack's dick right now. They were the one that went so fast at the speed of a blur, stripping his fucking armor, getting rid of all of his weapons to the point they had to make that man run. I have never seen Samurai Jack in the entire show run away from something so quickly. Like, get so beaten down and worn down so quickly that he had to run away because there was no other option he had to survive. And this is one of my favorite things that happens a lot in this season. And I kind of want to show off them. Actually, I don't, because if I do, I'm probably going to get copyrighted again. So, life, basically. Okay. So, basically, Samurai Jack, this is the first episode we get introduced to Jack's past self, right? So, Jack having a convo with his past self, only for his past self to say, aren't you tired? Let's just end it, is extremely wild. I have never heard Samurai Jack give up or be in such a bad spot now, to the point that he has his past self come out and say, you've lost the sword, you've lost your will to fight, your ancestors are waiting for you in heaven where you fucking belong, you have failed, let's just end it. This is annoying, you're dragging out your death, fuck it. Let's just end it in this little thing we have here. And Jack basically telling his past self, no, I'm going to run away. I'm going to fight these bitches. I'm going to figure a way out. I'm not going to listen to you. You know what I mean? I'm not. We can conversate all we want, but I'm not going to listen to you. And I felt that shit. I felt that. But anyways, watching Jack being chased by the Aku worshippers, aka the Daughters of Aku, is so scary to watch, because Jack hasn't faced or seen anything like these girls in his entire life. Now keep in mind, Jack, throughout a lot of these episodes and seasons and shit, he has been chased by all sorts of shit. And almost every single time he's been chased by people, literally those people have been stronger than him. But they are not like these girls. These girls chase this man down so quickly, so fast, so precise, and so crazy like that. Jack trying to confront one of them was a bad idea when trying to confront all of them together, dude. They were so bad. Jack confronting one of them in one of the Black Warriors in the dark, and Jack could only avoid and dodge the shit, is actually insane. So basically, Jack was in a pitch black room because he basically tried to follow one of these fireflies, because I think it was a firefly that actually basically had that happen to him, right? Okay, 43, I need to really get on with this, right? He basically followed the firefly into this dark environment, and in that dark environment was one of the Aku worshippers, one of the girls, that basically tried to fight Jack in the dark. Jack had to do nothing but avoid, like weave, like dodge, and duck, dodge left, right on some punch-out shit, can't really fight back, but if he can avoid a strike, he can avoid a strike with his hands and basically run the fuck away. That's literally all he could do because he didn't have a weapon. He didn't have nothing to help him fight against one of these girls. It was a whole fucking thing. And it was just insane watching all of this. Jack hiding in a tomb away from the girls, shaking with a blade in his hand because he found a small blade in the tomb. Actually being afraid of these girls made me afraid of these girls because keep in mind, Jack got blitzed by these girls and stripped of his armor. Just imagine him without armor and barely any knowledge of how to fight these girls. I would be shaking in my boots too after seeing that shit, man. So Jack getting chased later on by the girls. One of the girls caught up to Jack, and basically Jack fought her off, but basically since he's used to killing people, or not killing people, but he's used to killing robots. And a lot of things that chase him are either robots, or sometimes they're organic life, but most of the time, when Jack murks something, or tries to fight something, they're mainly robots. They're mainly robots. They're mainly machines, right? And basically, when Jack fought that one worshiper girl, by the way, just a random chick, not like Ashi or anything like that, but just a random one of them, one of the 7, he slit her throat. And when Jack saw the red blood, I felt extremely bad. Because keep this in mind, Samurai Jack, the entire story, was slaying robots. And if it was like a human life or some type of life, you know, he would find some way to avoid killing them, you know, obviously. But since these Aku worshippers were all black, with only a white mask, and they don't talk, right? All you hear is noises from them, or just pure silence. Jack just randomly assumed that they were robots. They weren't, like, actual people. But when he slit that throat of one of the girls, and he saw blood running down his shit, not only he slit her throat, but also she stabbed him in the gut. So he was kind of like leaking, but he didn't have time to really process the fact that he murdered a human. And actually seeing Jack murder a human was insane to me. Because the whole series he went on not murdering a single human, but yet he murders a human. For the first time in his entire life, he murdered another person. And I remember, like, this episode throwing me off so bad because Chris said, yo, I remember you're reacting just like how I did, where I actually was in shock when Samurai Jack actually murked somebody, murked an actual person, just like Jack, but I didn't have enough time to process that all because I wanted to move on to, like, episode 3. By the way, I watched episode 2 a day later, 23rd of April, 2025, because I was so invested in the show. And I remember just sitting there for a long time after that. Like, Jack actually murked a human being. Like, he actually killed another human being. That is actually insane right now. How could he do that? Why did he do that? You know, it's crazy to me that he actually did that, you know. And I sat there for so long just thinking about that over and over and over. It was crazy. But anyways, episode 3 of Samurai Jack, episode 3 of season 5, right? Seeing Jack's bloody body flowing through the water for like the first few minutes, minute 3-ish is something else. Watching Jack going in and out of consciousness because of the blade in his hip is crazy. Watching Jack limp in pain from the blade in his shit, and seeing Jack take out the blade looked extremely painful. And by the way, just seeing blood in this show was crazy too. That's another thing. Watching past Jack bloodthirsty ass talking about how Jack never killed a human before, and can you kill again is crazy. Because I remember Jack's bloodlust, basically when his past self came talking to him, he was like, you're not worried about the girls trying to find you. You're worried that you took one of their lives. You're worried that you took a human life. Oh, man. The feeling of killing a human. Oh, I wonder if you can do it again, Samurai Jack. Or are you up to the task? And obviously, Jack doesn't like killing humans, obviously. He doesn't like taking other people's lives. It's wrong. It is wrong. It's morally wrong. Right? It's no matter the circumstance, it feels wrong, right? Jack doesn't like to do that. If he can avoid it, he will, right? And it's like, fuck. And it's like, Jack going through that and seeing all that shit is kind of crazy just to really go off on that. Like, just, and I think this might be some people's, like, actual psyche whenever they either do murk somebody or they almost murk somebody and they get that, like, that bloodthirsty, that bloodlust just to do it again or something. Some people legit go through that and have that whole thing happen to them, and that's fucking nightmare fuel. Jesus Christ. Getting this flashback of Jack playing with his ball for a while, just for his father's men to die right outside of him because they were in a little carriage thing. Slain for Jack to witness his dad murk some fools and to get some blood on his face, all over his eyes. Like he didn't, like Jack himself as a little kid didn't murk anybody, but his dad did. And his dad, when he got that blood on his face and tried to wipe it off, that was a whole thing. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like a lot of kids would be, I feel like, traumatized over getting blood splattered on their face like that, like real blood. And I can't even blame them if they were. But the fact that Jack just saw that, I think he did get traumatized, but I don't know if they showed it on screen or off screen, but they kind of just showed, like, Jack just didn't understand what the hell happened, you know, and his dad had to explain something to him. It was a whole thing. On his face was crazy. Also, Jack waking up to leaves over himself was kind of nutty because it was the white wolf. Basically, this white wolf and Jack basically were like, oh fuck, we're both bleeding out, we're both seriously injured. I'll take care of you the best I can. Can you take care of me the best I can? We'll get food together. And I remember, like, for the rest of that bit with the wolf, Jack and the wolf taking care of each other, I thought that moment was kind of cool, that the wolf didn't just decide to eat Jack immediately or whatever. You know what I mean? It decided to help him out while he helps him out. And it was kind of like a, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal. I thought that was kind of cool. Jack and the wolf saying their goodbyes in silence was cool. We also earlier, like I mentioned, I think in the previous episode, we got like a wolf trying to fight off all the other big monsters. I don't know if that was a reference to a wolf, like, or a dog, like, fight everything. It is the whole thing. I'm confused on that whole bit anyway. But, bro, the Aku worshippers say death is failure to their own comrade and continue searching for Jack like nothing ever happened is wild. That's how I knew these girls were a menace. That's how I knew they were built different in comparison to everybody else who followed / tried to chase Samurai Jack. Because these girls were so dedicated to killing the samurai that if one of them dies, they don't give a fuck. They'll just continue the mission. Even if one of them's left, they will just continue the mission and say, you're trash, and move the fuck on. Imagine that. Because most people, when they travel in groups, in packs, or whatever, if your friend gets murked, you're going back for them. Or you're going to try to get vengeance for them. You care about the person. These girls, they don't give a fuck, dude. They don't give a fuck. And that's how I knew. Not only from the Blitz moment from way earlier, but I also knew from this moment. And I love how this season is trying to tell you these Aku worshippers / the daughters of Aku are no joke. They are actually a threat to you. They are a serious threat. And if you ever encounter them, you're probably dead. You're dead if you're not Jack. You're probably dead. 9. Watching how the Aku girls get nervous over a deer and look at the stronger male deer just to have been even more clueless about how wildlife actually works is insane. So basically, I remember all the girls are trying to chase Jack, and what ended up happening was they kind of were on his trail. Then they kind of got scared because they heard something, but they heard a deer come out, and the deer was like going to get some food or some shit. And basically, they were like, what the fuck? What is that? Because keep in mind, excuse me, the Aku worshippers, all they did all day was train train day in, day out to kill the samurai, hone their skills, learn different types of moves, learn different types of abilities, learn all sorts of ways to fight. And no matter the situation they're in, they had to learn how to do this, that, right? They had to learn. That's all they did. They didn't learn about the outside world, people. They didn't learn about trees, grass, Mother Nature. They didn't learn that stuff. They didn't learn how to do, what the fuck is this deer? They didn't learn nothing. All they learned is how to kill Jack. They were born to do that. And that's crazy. They were born groaning and crafting their skills. They are menaces, man. They're menaces. And then just them seeing a deer, and then they're like, for Aku's army, that deer is a part of the Aku's minions, right? Yeah, so the bigger deer slay the smaller one. And it's like the bigger deer and the smaller deer just get a little nose thing. And they're like, ugh, what the fuck? That's disgusting. I'm going to kill it. Because of how disgusted they were over, like, Mother Nature trying to do its thing. You know, it's kind of crazy. But, yeah, anyways, Jack... Oh, I love this part. Jack warning the girls to leave and live or stay and die is kind of raw. Because basically, they tracked Jack down. He was in this snow field thing because it was snowing really bad. And basically, Jack tried to warn him. He gave them a fair warning before they all ran the fade with Jack. He said, or six of them did. Jack said, A, please leave. I am not trying to run the hands. I am just trying to live my life, you know, figure shit out and move on. We do not have to do this. He tried solving it in a normal way, but the girls said, fuck your energy. You're a pussy. Let's fight. Jack using the snow fog to murk two of the girls. So there were six. Now there is six, right? There were six before. Now there's only 4 girls left after that. Right, murked the 2 girls, and the fight leading after it is raw as fuck, because they're basically going back and forth. I think even more girls die in that little snow fight they had. But the fact that Jack was, like, not easily murking them, but no matter what he did with or without the sword, was showing these girls up was crazy. Love how Jack says, screw a weapon, I'm gonna use my hands on this broken, this tree branch shit. And finished off the girls, but also the tree branch broke and Jack falling as well as nuts, right? And I thought episode 3 was actually really crazy because not only the wolf bit, but also like, Jack and the wolf working together. Jack just straight up saying, fuck a weapon, or using like, that's what I love about Jack, right? Is he not only has the skills of the past, but he also has the skills of the future too, and I love that. Right? And I honestly, Zayar Farhad. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm bad with names. Welcome back. I'm talking about Samurai Jack Season 5, by the way. I just love how this whole show handles itself, and it's so good. But anyways, let's get on with episode 4 now. Right? I love that. My final thought, I love all these episodes, by the way. That's my final thoughts on all these. All these episodes are so damn good. I highly recommend you watch the show before you watch, like, my experience / my review on this shit. Anyways, Jack waking up from his fall immediately goes bonkers from his vision, which is nuts, aka, like, hallucinations and other things such as that. Jack and Ashi's mini tussle was brief, but Jack trying to talk with her was funny, because Ashi was just saying, you are the filth! Aku's the great lord! Praise him! And Jack's like, you are actually not speaking facts. Aku is the one doing this madness. Oh, you're lost. The whole thing, right? Jack tried to talk with her because he's like, if I can try to help at least one person not be influenced by Aku, I will. Anyways, Jack and Ashi get eaten by a giant monster, and later Jack has to fight a lot, but also keep Ashi safe while she herself is trying to kill him. That's a whole thing. Jack talking with a weird light ball, then later his past Jack comes back out and talks about the current circumstances. And I won't lie, seeing like this blue past Jack come out of nowhere, and just whenever Jack is trying to conversate with himself, whenever he gets time to slow things down, past self always comes out and says something like, for example, Ashi, ditch the girl. Why are you trying to save her? She is not worth your time. Matter of fact, if she's dead, she's dead. care about us and only us. Have us survive, not her. She chose her path, which her path was the path of darkness. Right? And basically, past Jack just blabbing on about that. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of reminds me of how my dad was having a situation with certain somebody that not we all know, but I know. And it just kind of reminded me of that a little bit, in a way. But anyways, Jack having to hear Asashi speak nothing but how great. Fuck. Jack having to hear Ashi speak nothing but how great Aku was, until Jack sat her down and said this. This is Jack's words, not mine. I'm going to read all of this to you because I made this a whole thing. Everything, every word, every thought that you know is wrong. Aku is the one that laid waste to the beauty of this world. He destroyed Mother Nature. Where do you think we are? Aku has unleashed these monstrosities upon our world, and they feed off his carnage. Believe what you may. And she basically said, liar. She called him a liar. She said, liar! And Jack said, believe what you may, but if you open your eyes and let go of the hate, you will see the truth. And I remember when Jack said that message, that shit went hard. Because Ashi is the one that has, faith. And we saw that in previous episodes where Ashi was the one that was mostly unfocused. She is the one Jack is trying to change, try to see the better of her ways, because all of her other sisters, they're completely brainwashed to the core. But Ashi, it's close, but not fully. And that's a whole thing. Anyways, that message went really hard. I love that message that Samurai Jack said. As soon as Ashi says die to Jack, this random red thorn storm started pouring in, which is funny. It's funny to get each thorn out, because basically Jack, since Ashi's chained up, and basically, every second Ashi spends with him, she wants to kill him. Jack has to pull Ashi's shit, the thorn needles out of her face and everywhere on her body. Same with Jack pulling his shit out of his body, and it was a whole thing with that. I thought it was funny because Jack made a joke saying, there's people out there in the world that pay for this. It's called archipoture or something like that. And Ashi was just silent, like, I don't give a fuck. I want to murk you. Never mind. That was funny. Jack wearing this bug-like armor, and he says he likes the back fur. And Ashi tells him he looks hideous. And Jack goes from, that's a compliment. Thank you. Like, basically, that's not the worst thing you've called me or told me. So saying I look hideous, that's a compliment, because that's not that bad. Anyways, Jack had to avoid a giant fish and reach the light, and they barely made it out of the motherfucking thing. Ashi later sees a ladybug and thought Jack was going to kill it, but didn't, and made Ashi rethink her decision to murk Jack. So basically, the reason why I say this bit, the last bit of it, by the way, I watched episode 3 a few days later on April 27, 2025. The whole reason, Ashi had that whole thing with the ladybug. Damn, bro is telling the whole season 5 lore. That's exactly what I'm doing here, man. That's how my reviews work, and then I give my thoughts on it. Basically, like, Ashi, back in the day when she was training, she basically was kind of in love with this ladybug, because she was kind of curious about what the creature is, what does this creature do, and yada yada yada, that whole fucking thing, right? But then Ashi's mother, aka the mother of the Aku worshippers. Now this is some good times. This is some good ass time spent. Yeah, for real. But basically, she took that ladybug, the mother of Ashi, squashed it, right? And because of that, she was like, "Fuck, is Jack going to do the same thing?" Because this was kind of like Ashi's like way of like seeing if Aku is right. Is Jack a murderer? Because basically, her whole life, she was brainwashed by Aku's worshippers, aka her own mother too, that Aku is the god of this world, Aku loves this world, Aku is the whole reason they live, right? So seeing Jack take the ladybug put it on his finger, then let it move to the palm of his hand and let it fly away, that showed Ashi that Jack isn't a murderer of Mother Nature. Jack is the good guy here. Jack is the one. Yeah, but Jack is the one that, oh my god. Oh, and I also remember this episode onward is where I started watching a lot of them in one day because of a certain thing. I'll mention it here in a second, but that's what I was saying. That showed Ashi that Jack isn't a murderer of life. Jack is the hero. Jack is the man. Jack is the man with the plan. So maybe Jack was on to something. I want to know. What the fuck? Right? And that made her rethink her decisions. And I thought that episode was so good too, because the way they handled Ashi's character from absolutely despising Jack in the beginning of this to the end of this, maybe Jack is right about Aku, about everything in my life being wrong. Maybe. And I love that. I love how that episode deals with that and all the situations in between. I love all of that. Such a great episode. Watch it. So episode 4 onward, I remember Chris was telling me one day, we got in party, he was basically telling me, Alan, I want to watch, since you got Netflix back, I want to watch Devil May Cry, Hajime no Ippo, I want to watch all that shit with you, dude. I want to watch it all, so get done with Samurai Jack, so we can go over and watch the Devil May Cry anime, or Hajime no Ippo, or something, right? So basically, I had to spend most of April 27th, 2025, not only talking about episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, and I think episode 8 before I had to stop. So I watched more than 3 episodes because trying to write everything down, as well as watching it, because Ronnie wanted to do stuff with me. He wanted to hang out with me. He wanted to watch more shit with me. It was the whole thing. Anyways, I digress. My experience with season 5, episode 5 of Jack, right? Oh, yes, the return of Scotsman and his new army of tanks and warriors, though a lot of them are his daughters, which makes me think, how many women did he get with? Because Scotsman comes out of here, comes out of the woodworks. I'm not joking, guys. This guy, I couldn't believe it, but this guy had more than 5 daughters. Brother, this man had like more than 10 daughters. I'm sitting there. How is his dick not destroyed? How the fuck did he make more than 10 daughters of his own volition? How did he do it? I'm sorry, but like the male dick can't produce that many girls in one lifetime. There's no fucking way. And seeing Scotsman, the boy Scotsman, because if you guys don't remember him from season 2, him and Jack used to be tight. He also had a magic sword too. He was like a bounty hunter back in the day. But I guess in the future, like 50 years later, he's also an old man at this time. But he settled down and had a lot of daughters in between his time. That's something I can tell you. And he remembers each and every single one of their fucking names. Jesus. Also, Scottman standing up to Aku and saying, and sadly dies, makes me sad because he was able to keep up with Jack back in his prime and I said it's prime, but literally a second before that, Scotsman comes back as a ghost in his prime, his physical prime, and basically has not only all his abilities, but also new ones on top of that, but he also is literally a being formed of Meltic or Celtic magic. Yeah. I don't know how that works, but basically that's a whole thing. And what the fuck? But yeah, learning about Scotsman, that was a big part of this episode. 3, Ashi defying her master/teacher/mother to form her own path was so freaking awesome. Because I remember when Ashi saw that Jack is basically telling the truth about himself, or at least she sees that now, and she wants to learn obviously more about the truth later on, which we will get into. But Ashi, taking the first steps and defying her master and all that other sort of stuff goes hard. I love that because it takes a lot of willpower from anyone. It doesn't even have to be a girl it takes a lot of willpower to really defy something or someone like your whole life, that you've been under in a bad way. It takes a lot of willpower just to not just go back to them and shit. It's a whole thing. Anyways, Jack shows Ashi the truth. Villages, kids, families stripped away from evil people. Like, basically, what Aku does is basically the future. In this future, Jack was taken to, basically for the entire time Jack was there, Aku actually uses Earth as a place to house menaces, monsters. I'm talking monsters of the week. Fucking vigilantes, evil people that kill for fun, bullies, all of them, all the bads, ranging from big to small, in terms of bad people, and basically gives them homes. And basically those evil people get placed in areas that are actually peaceful, but get ruined because of that bad person that just landed on the planet. And seeing all of that, Ashi wants to help Jack end it. She says, "You're right. I want to help you end Aku's evil, Aku's madness, and all that other sort of stuff." And that was a whole thing. Watching Jack and Ashi deal with these blue creatures, and later Ashi getting tortured / overcoming it, and Jack thought he killed again, so he went off with the green ghost samurai motherfucker. So basically, later in this episode, after Ashi and Jack want to go help end this blue furry creature said they took the kids and basically into this facility, and this other robot dude that loves shock treatment in any way, shape, or form basically put a chip in their head, put it on a certain frequency to force them to do his bidding, no matter what it was. Right? And Ashi is just pissed at this after realizing this, because she also got tortured, basically shocked right in front of her eyes on the screen, and basically dude and that's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into that because that's fucked up. But Ashi eventually got out of that and said, "Fuck around and find out," and he dies. The dude that tortured her, she ain't keeping that motherfucker alive. And after that, after she figured out how to stop the frequency on the blue creatures, all the blue creatures fainted, and because of that, Jack also saw that basically all of them fall over, like he killed them all. And obviously, you guys know, because ever since he killed / murked the one of the Aku worshippers, he basically what ended up happening is oh shit, my drink. Basically what ended up happening is go ahead, get on out of here. Anyways, my bad, I had to cover up real quick. Basically Jack thought he killed again, so basically he went on to the person that basically I can't remember. Basically, god damn it, the green ghost from earlier, the green samurai ghost, went with him, walked off. Ashi was just alone after that, wondering what the fuck. Final thoughts on season 5, episode 5. Ashi wanting to know the truth, and this episode, as the first time Jack and Asashi worked together as a team, was pretty solid. Episode 6 of Samurai Jack, season 5. Ashi wondering where Jack has wandered off to and stumbled upon folks. Basically, this episode, to sum up episode 6, was Ashi, for the most part, went to different locations. Just to quickly speed this one up. Basically, for the most part, went to different locations that Jack has met people. Basically, the dudes from season 1, episode 6, the techno kids that had that basically were dancing not of their own free will. The fucking weird type people. I don't remember, but there was a lot of people in this episode that Ashi just met because they helped Jack and they want to help Jack back in some way. Also, Scaramouche was in this episode, and for the most part, Also, Demigo came back, but then Demigo just said, yeah, fuck it, I'm not here, just ignore me. That happened. Basically, and then near the end of the episode is where shit really gets interesting, is because basically Jack went to the gravestone of these past samurai, and basically it's samurai honor. Basically, if you dishonor the samurais in any way, shape, or form, you have to kill yourself, right? So you can restore honor to the samurai name, to restore the honor you dishonored. And Jack felt like he was ready to end it all. I think it was Senpaku. I can't really say the name right, or Senpaku. It was something of the sort. I can't remember the name, but it was something of the sort. Basically, you gotta get yourself in the gut and shit. And basically, that whole bit was Ashi trying to convince Jack, no, it's not your time to die, because if it was, you would be dying like of your own free will, by your own choice, not some samurai dude in green with these other samurai dudes trying to fucking ruin your shit. Jack, you taught me how to be me. You are the one who brought me to who I'm supposed to be. You're the one who got me out of Aku's madness. You're the one who did this for me. Not just for me, but you also saved so many people in the process. Jack, we need you. They need you. You can't just go off and die now. And basically the Green Samurai, that entire time she was talking, he basically is also trying to slash her. He's trying to murk her. He's trying to do all sorts of shit to shut her the fuck up about it and have Jack just suffer the consequences. All those women and children that you can basically trying to guilt trip him into also committing the shit. Continue to admit the shit. But and after a while, Jack was like, ching! On the motherfucking thing. Basically what ended up happening is Jack got back to his senses due to Ashi. Oh, and also Ashi got a new look in this episode because she got rid of the whole Aku charred skin shit off. So she had to scratch it with literal rock for hours to try to get the good skin going and all that other sort of shit. It was a whole thing. Right? But I love how in this episode, by the way, April 27th, so another day, Ashi realizing all the wonderful things Jack has done, and Jack taking on that Ghost Rider was actually pretty sick, right? So let's go to episode, by the way, yeah, this was, that was 6 we just talked about, so we need to talk about 7, alright? Seeing young Jack looking for another time portal and finally reached it just to get pulled back by Aku, and Aku shot the only portal left. Keep in mind, Samurai Jack, in the entire series of this show, is looking for time portals and ways to escape to the past to undo the future that is Aku. That is literally the purpose of the entire show, right? So, basically one day he did find a time portal. He was going to go back to the past and tell Aku, and this is a past event. And what I mean by young Jack, I'm talking young Jack as in he still has the Komodo, the gi, and all that other sort of shit. And he's like has a good mind and all that other sort of shit. But basically, he got so like after Aku shot the only time portal left in the entire world outside of his own powers to be able to make one. Seeing Jack so visibly angry, he decided to dish it out on innocent animals influenced by Aku's power, and Jack was so disgusted with himself that he let anger completely blind him, that he killed innocent animals. And by the way, what I mean by innocent animals, they're like these little goat creatures that Aku used his magic on, because basically Aku, to sum up Aku's character, he can do anything and whatever he wants. He's literally the epitome of all darkness. He is literally the pit of darkness. He is darkness incarnated. He is darkness himself. So literally, his powers are boundless. And the only thing that can kill him is that goddamn sword Jack carries for most of the show. Right? That can kill him permanently and end him. The only thing that can murk. Right? But anyways, but because Aku influenced those animals to become evil and giant and rogue, Jack took all his rage, like I said, and killed them all. Slaughtered them all. And Jack was so disgusted that he took innocent life, like an innocent animal life. Because keep this in mind, No matter what type of life it can be a plant, it can be an animal, it can be a person. Jack doesn't like to do those things. He loves Mother Nature way too much. He loves, the environment. Every person loves the environment. So seeing Jack actually be disgusted at himself for taking the life of those animals, he dropped his sword, and his sword, pretend this pencil is a sword. The pencil, as he dropped it, and as there was shaking coming, the pencil fell into a giant, or not the pencil, the sword fell into a giant hole for Jack to never see it again for many years, right? And seeing that made me think for a second. It legit made me think, wow, this is insane that Jack legit felt this way. No wonder he turned into somebody else for so long and started feeling like there was no hope anymore for the world after what he did to those animals. And obviously later on to a human, one of the Yaku sisters. It was insane, right? Seeing Jack and Ashi try to find the sword only for Jack to realize he didn't lose the sword. He didn't lose the sword. The sword left him on some Thor shit. Jack meditating into this grassy-like area and is later told to make tea by a Buddha / this random monk. Where did that pencil go, though? That pencil up and vanished. That shit went straight to the world of fucking... That shit went straight to the past. And undo the future... Oh, there it is. It almost undid the future of Aku. Goddamn, that pencil almost did the fucking thing. Sorry, but low-key, that shit was crazy. But, basically, when Jack went into the state, in that state, when he tried to find the sword, he needs to, come to peace with himself. He needs to rebalance himself for him to be worthy of the sword again, right? While this is happening, Ashi is fighting an entire army to protect Jack. She's getting bloodied, she's getting battered full of someone else's blood, all the army's blood, and all that shit. It was a whole thing. Ashi coming face to face with her mother, aka the leader of the Aku worshippers and shit. That was wild. I remember that fight. It was crazy. She was actually closer to killing Jack than obviously the army dudes were. But basically, Ashi threw an arrow into her mother's chest, and that ended her, and then she went jumping off to the side and everything. It was a whole thing. Ashi killing her mother with an arrow was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy, low-key. Past Jack is engulfed with rage after the Buddha said, I can't show you your own path. Basically, this episode was all about Jack confronting his anger. Jack finally seeing that his own anger blinded them all these years and finally found balance. Right? And after seeing that kind of made me think about my own anger. It kind of made me think about my own rage, my own anger whenever I am mad about something or whatever. And that's why, I've been trying my best, multiple times to just try to keep my anger back. There was no reason to be angry far beyond this moment. And sometimes anger, for real, guys, this is someone that has anger issues on a regular basis, can really blind us into doing horrible things, horrible, unspeakable things to other people or other things or inanimate objects and all that shit. Rage / anger is never good, and it can fuck up, your balance as a person. It can fuck you up, right? And I don't know, it just made me really reflect on my own anger and my own issues in a really kind of crazy way. But after Jack figured out that balance and had that solace and shit, the god finally giving Jack his sword back and his transformation back to Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4 self is epic as hell. I almost want to put that one on, to be honest. Samurai Jack transforming back into his past self. Damn it, dude. Samurai Jack transformation. Boom. I think they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Not Ashi's transformation, but Jack's... Oh, Samurai Jack reforming to his former self. Yeah. I think it's in here. I could be wrong. Yep, Jack confronts his inner demon. Jack gets his sword back. Yeah, pretty much. That's the clip that I want to show off, right? Let me show that clip off to you because it is so cool. The whole anger moment.
You have blinded us, but now I can see. You need me! Now you are balanced. Like your father, you have been chosen to stop the force of ultimate evil. You are worthy.
Love it. Fucking love it. And when seeing that version of Jack back on screen, right? Yeah, the God finally gives a sword was epic as hell. Ashi asking Jack what's next, and simply his response is Aku was so badass. I love that shit. By the way, I also watched this one April 27th, 2025, so I watched like so much of this shit. And seeing Jack finally, like, in the present day, not like a flashback or not like something that is not correct or something like a flashback or whatever about Jack's past actions. It was so good seeing Jack kind of get his abilities back, like get his look, his, you know, his old look back, and him not feeling depressed anymore, him not getting himself out of that funk. It felt so good seeing proper Samurai Jack, man. It felt so good. It felt amazing seeing that, right? So let's go on to episode 8, right? Jack eats a fish and it turns his head into a fish for a bit, and it kind of freaked Ashi out. That's something. I love that episode. By the way, my bad, but episode 7, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about episode 7 before we go back to episode 8. It literally pulled my sword out, because I have an IRL Zoro sword. It made me, like, pull that shit out and be like, yo, fucking preach. That shit is preached. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's go back. Seeing these Panther-like dudes getting into this transportation vehicle, and it's so crowded that Jack and Ashi got so close. They even had a fucking something's poking me joke type shit there. I'm just going to skip on over that. Jack and Ashi having to fight the Panthers on a giant camel until they decided to flee. That shit was crazy. Jack and Ashi hanging around at a savannah making hats for themselves was pretty cool. Basically, this whole episode can sum down to Jack and Ashi just doing shit together. That's what season 5, episode 8 can boil down to for the most part. It's Jack and Ashi getting so close that to the point they kind of figured out that they sort of pseudo-love each other. That's basically episode 8. Episode 9, right? Jack and Ashi still kissing from the last episode and quickly stopped kissing and spit that shit out. And after that, because they were embarrassed about what they just did. Jack's bearded self telling Jack to be careful is kind of funny, all things considered, because I thought he, like, past Jack was kind of gone for good, but it was just Jack in the mirror kind of doubting himself, I guess. It was more of a doubtful Jack than like an anger, enraged past Jack that we talked about previously. The little blue Jack that would hang side by side of him and all that shit. That's the whole thing. Scaramouche and Aku dancing to Jack not having the sword anymore, even though the info isn't valid anymore, was kind of funny. Jack leaving Ashi to go face Aku alone is kind of fucked up, but understandable. He doesn't want Ashi to be a memory anymore, because basically everything that Samurai Jack has ever fought for and ever fought with, Aku has but has ruined that for him in spades. So that's why he's like, Ashi, you know, in order for your own protection, in order for your own good, I don't want to fight with you anymore, you know? I want to distance myself so I can take care of Aku by myself. And I love how Ashi says, Jack, everything we've done to this point, we've done together. And we'll do the same with Aku. We will defeat Aku together because that's just how it is. You know I love you. You know you love me. And we're gonna do this together type shit. That's basically what Ashi said. And I kind of felt that. I was like, you know what? Ashi's kind of fucking cool, man. Like, kind of telling him that shit. Because usually when Jack's kind of down on something or he's going to do something, you know, no one's really usually there to kind of tell him that, no. Otherwise, you know what I mean? So, I love how Aku and Scaramouche pull up on Jack and Ashi just to find out he still has his sword. And Aku immediately murks Scaramouche for that. Love that shit. Scaramouche was the robot that said, yo, what's going on, babe? How you doing? Why do I sound like Johnny Bravo? Hey, what's going on there, babe? Okay. You like these muscles you're looking at? The whole thing. But anyways, God, number 7, finding out that during the fight when Aku and Scaramouche pulled up on Jack, Aku was like, wait, time out. I smell something. I smell me. Because I guess Aku can smell his own dark energy or whatever. And Aku says, yes. And basically we go into a backstory where Aku explains there was this one time I did meet the Aku worshippers. And I put a little bit of my energy in this cup. And for a long time, I'm guessing what ended up happening is, and he didn't know this, but he put his essence, a little bit of himself, in a cup, like just dark energy, because he is made of purely dark energy. And because of Ashi is the true daughter of Aku, because of one of the many daughters, aka the mother of the Aku worshippers, drank all of Aku's essence, and basically at the beginning of the show gave birth to Ashi, the true daughter of Aku. So basically she has Aku blood running through her veins, thick and thin, and also her mother's human blood's running through her veins. So basically, since Ashi has Aku energy within her, Aku can basically do whatever he wants with her. Basically, and most of this episode, for a good chunk of it, was basically Ashi is forced to fight Jack because Aku bitch ass is using his powers to force Ashi to fight. Later on, Ashi's completely taken over by Aku's influence. Ashi wants Jack to kill her, but Jack couldn't do it, which leads to Jack getting captured by Aku later on, and by the way, I watched episode 8 a day later, or episode 9 a day later, right? A day, the 28th, not the 27th, because I couldn't finish, because after that, I had to go be with Nick, because Nick wanted to hang out that night and whatnot, and I kind of had to stop Samurai Jack that day. But anyways, not the 28th, but on the 27th. Anyways, my experience with Samurai Jack, this is the final shit, right? Everyone's seeing Aku put on the opening one of Samurai Jack and showed everyone how he captured him. Because basically, the first opening place, long ago, I tore open a time, and blah, 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 the whole thing, right? Explains the whole story, says not, and basically shows everybody that he has captured the samurai. He's captured Samurai Jack. I would show footage, but, I'm kind of already in trouble with the opening, so you're going to have to go with my words here, or maybe, watch it on HBO Max, or just Max nowadays, because they call it Max, or find some type of website or whatever to watch it on, so you can kind of get what I'm talking about here in this episode. But, yeah, basically that happens. Aku not knowing how to kill the samurai once and for all is kind of bonkers to me, because I'm like, yo, and Aku was like live on television, he was about to kill the samurai, but he said, I don't know how I want to kill the samurai. And I'm sitting there like, brother, you had over 50 years to think about how to murk this man. And there was many times where you just straight up tried to murk the man yourself. And you're telling me you don't have an idea now that he's captured, doesn't have the sword in his hand to try to, throw off your projectiles or anything. He's literally chained up, right? And you tell me you have no idea how to kill this man? Crazy, right? Fucking crazy, man. But yeah, that happens. Aku having Ashi deliver the final blow only for everyone Jack to ever help to come and aid Jack in the battle against Aku and evil Asashi was pretty damn cool. Basically, Aku having everyone who aided Jack fight against each other because he basically can turn Jack's army against each other. That's a whole thing he can do. And honestly, I might show a little bit of it, to be honest. I might show it. Samurai Jack, Season 5, Episode 10, the battle. Yeah. Because it was practically the whole episode there. The final battle into 6 little videos. Basically, oh damn, he's uploaded this in spades. But I'm going to show you the battle, a little bit of it. Right? But basically, you know, this happened. A lot of things happened. I'm going to put on mute. Jack tried to fight, you know, Ashi, and then Ashi tried to, and then you got Scotsman coming through like the G he is. Look at my boy with all of his daughters on those deer, and basically, you know, so much is happening. I mean, I even love the fact that Scotsman and Jack even interact with each other. It's the whole thing there.
You're dead, eh? Just a wee bit. Then how? Celtic magic. Oi, you gonna meet me pony daughters? There's Flora, Maeve, Isla.
Yeah, when he starts naming all the girls, I thought that was crazy. Anyways.
I cannot. What? You're suddenly too good for me, girls. Oh no. I met someone. Oh. I don't think she's your type, like.
Basically, that robot comes in. Basically, Robot Samurai here comes in, beats the fuck out of man. That was a whole thing. Aku said enough. Basically, trounced the entire army with black spears. Scotsman stops the shit with his Celtic magical pipe abilities. Cool as shit. Skipping through the fight a lot because I don't want to show too much of it. But Jack and Ashi force the fight, continue fighting. Jack tried to tell her, Ashi, please fight this off. Please fight the dark magic. Later on, what happens is Jack admits his love for her. And this is the part I did feel kind of weird about, right? Is after Aku kind of gave her his abilities, like, she's suddenly on Aku's level. Like, she can suddenly do... This is something I did have a problem with, right? Because, I mean, I get it. Like, when you have Aku's essence inside of you already, like, you're the true daughter, it's like, yeah, of course you can do stuff you can do what your actual dad can do. But a part of me is like... A part of me is like, shouldn't she like be like, he didn't really give him his full powers or anything. Shouldn't she like have all these abilities but like not be able to use them in crazy spurts or anything? Like, that was like my whole thing, like when thinking about it in my head for a bit, when watching the episode a little more. I was sitting there like, wait. So she can just do everything now? She can do whatever the fuck she wants? That's a whole thing. I guess, whatever. And I know it's a 10-episode show, so they had to wrap this up in some way, shape, or form without it like being like, oh, I can't use my powers, the whole thing. But I just kind of had a little nitpick about that, in my honest opinion, about her just suddenly having all of his powers. But that's a whole thing. But basically, she's like, Jax realizes she has his powers. Oh, she... Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I love how Aku had that moment, but, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, I get it. Google still tracks my stuff. Come by the DuckDuckGo, whatever. But yeah, Jack and Ashi basically go back in time. Jack finally finally has that triumphant moment of going back into the past. Ashi's happy for him. Jack finally murks Aku completely. Right? But basically, flung it back in time, past Jack anyway. He's like, okay, cool, I'm peak. But then future Jack's like, wait, what the fuck, you're back already? And basically slayed him over and over and over again. Over and over. And took the blade, cursed his darkness, got rid of him, dies. They have a whole thing. Jack's like, Ashi, I'm happy to meet you type shit. It's a whole thing there. And I'm just going to explain the rest, right? But, because I wanted to skip through the war, because you guys get the war, right? You get it. If you watch the whole episode, you'll have the, like, whole context. It's supposed to be a review, but yet it's one of my longest streams I've done in a while. So, why the fuck not, right? Anyways, I digress, right? So after Jack and Ashi do that whole thing, like, basically time portal, all that stuff, Jack and Ashi went back to the past and ended Aku once and for all. So when they ended Aku once and for all, correct? Jack finally went back since Ashi, and basically they lived their lives for a while pretty happily. But since Aku doesn't exist, and since they went back to the past to undo everything, Ashi's own existence, and they were going to get married too. Jack and Ashi were going to get married and try to live a happy life ever after. But yeah, because Aku didn't exist, Ashi doesn't exist. So therefore, Jack loses the one thing he really wanted from the future when he returned to the past. And now Jack is honestly all alone. Like, he has his mom, his dad, everyone he's ever known back that was with him in the past, but he doesn't have Ashi anymore. And I remember watching Jack near the end of the episode. That was a big pill to swallow, because it's like, damn, I spent literally half of season 5 with her, now just to lose her, all over again. And it's insane that he lost the girl. He loses the girl. After everything they've ever been through, he loses her because, he undid Aku. Dude, it's crazy. And I remember after this episode, I was sitting here legit thinking to myself, that's not how you end it. Like, Jack looking depressed and shit and whatnot. And obviously after he was done being depressed, what ended up happening is, he kind of accepted it. Like, he was sad, but he accepted, like, what he did was a really good thing. And in the end, it's what needed to happen in order for everything to blossom, to bloom, like all the flowers. Mother Nature can come back to the forefront and not Aku's shitty future, not going to be overruling on this. And I thought the ending for Samurai Jack, because it kind of led me mixed, because I wanted Jack to be completely happy with, him going back to the past. I was so happy for him going back to the past, but it's like, I was mixed because I'm like, damn, I really wanted Jack to have Ashi, because after everything he's went through, he deserves someone like Ashi in his life. And I hope off screen, maybe someday, right, he can, like, find a chick or something. And I know it's the end of the series, so we will have no idea, because I don't know if Samurai Jack has comic books or anything of the sort. So on some regular show shit, they just continue it through comic books, like continue stories. But just watching, like, Samurai Jack, like, just kind of leave us off with Mother Nature's back. He may be depressed for a little bit, but he's happy that he finally completed his mission. He wasn't a failure to his parents. To everyone he's ever loved, he actually did it. He actually did what he wanted to do. He got back to the past. He got what he wanted. But it's like, I remember, God, and I know I keep repeating myself in this video, but I was so mixed with how the season made me feel that I had to sit on it for a while. But nowadays, after leaving it off for a few days, not making the video immediately after, and just thinking about how Jack felt in the moment, and how the animators probably felt after finally getting a proper ending to the series that they've spent so many years crafting. It felt honestly, this ending was good. I don't think it could have been much better than that. I kind of wish Jack didn't have to go through that whole fucking failed marriage with the Ashi thing. That was kind of fucked up. I didn't think Jack needed to have another like a really pretty fucked up moment after that, but here we are. I thought Samurai Jack season 5 at the end, like my honest, truest thoughts after being fucking bamboozled and everything I just said a second ago. I love season 5. Honestly, if you guys felt like I did when watching Samurai Jack, where you're tired of Samurai Jack stories being one episode niche stories, and instead of being that, I love how season 5 changes everything and keeps you on your toes, keeps you on your feet. You're never expecting what's going to happen next. And I remember, if you guys remember my review of season 4, it got that bad where I was starting to predict episodes. So seeing season 5 do what I wanted to do, where it's more focused on one thing, one big thing that takes place over multiple episodes, instead of just having one episode condensed stories. I felt like season 5 was such a breath of fresh air, and I was so happy to finally watch season 5 of Samurai Jack. This is a season I feel like I definitely would recommend you still watch season 3 and 4. For those episode experiences, you get more Samurai Jack than I did. Because keep in mind, I stopped halfway through season 3, and I stopped 2 episodes into season 4. So going from fully season 1, season 2 to somewhat liking season 3 for the half of it, and then just not even bothering with the rest of season 3 and not bothering with the rest of season 4. I didn't get a whole lot of Samurai Jack, but season 5 I felt like made up for that. It kept me on the edge of my toes, like every episode, wanting to watch more. But I said I'm gonna try to milk it, or not milk it. I'm gonna try to. What's the right word for this? I'm gonna try to relax with this. I'm gonna try to not watch this every other day. But thanks to what Chris wanted to do one day, or not just Chris, but thanks to me also really wanting to watch it all the time, because it just was so good. It was so good, and I'm glad that Cartoon Network / Adult Swim didn't push the creators of Samurai Jack to ruin this, to ruin the show or whatever, or the show writers kept it going longer than it needed to. Thank you to everybody on the Samurai Jack team that created this show from season 1 to 5. Thank you for entertaining millions. Thank you for entertaining me. And thank you for creating something that's going to stick with me for a very long time. To the creators of the show, you guys created a masterpiece. And I couldn't be happier for having Samurai Jack be in my life. Because before this point, before I actually sat down and watched on HBO Max, as of late, not today, but as of throughout this year, all I remembered from Samurai Jack before this was the opening. And the fact that I finally took time to actually watch the show and see it for myself now, and have all those reviews of season 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, it means a lot that you guys watch all the reviews, gave me some good feedback, honest feedback and stuff. I appreciate that and stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time with another review on something. I don't know, maybe the entire movie of Black Panther or something, or I gotta figure something out since we already did Punch Out, Mike Titans Punch Out, the other stuff, and all that other sort of stuff. And goodbye, Samurai Jack. It was fun watching you, and it was fun making reviews about you, man. And who knows? Maybe I'll do fan dubs of Samurai Jack one day. I don't know. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. God bless you all. I'll try my best to some other time make a good reaction video. But for now, my tablet's probably super dead. It's going to be dying. So, yeah. Do all the usual YouTube things. But also, make sure y'all have a good day. God bless you all. You guys all have a phenomenal day. Sorry for extending this out. But, Aku! I will find you and get back to the past! Oh, wait, I did that. Yeah, Jack, you did that already. Oh. I'm just gonna end the video. I thought I could do like a Samurai Jack skit. Nah, that didn't work out. I know, I'm corny. Deuces.